And welcome back. Zillow provided their new housing market update for 2023. In fact, this is the first time ever they provide the real estate market predictions for the entire year of 2023. And they actually have some pretty bold predictions here as well. So I have a lot to share in today's video, so let's go ahead and dive right in. And here's their housing market predictions for 2023. They first talk about the Midwest. During the early parts of this pandemic, the Sun Belt in the US had a strong pull on American movers. A lot of people moved to the Sun Belt during the early parts of this pandemic, back in 2020 and of course 2021. The housing markets in Florida dominated the annual price appreciation leaderboard in 2022. That was followed by Tennessee, the Carolinas, as well as Texas as well. And Zillow is forecasting the heat will stay on in the Sunshine State. In other words, they are forecasting that the housing market will still remain fairly hot in Florida in 2023. However, though, affordability has become the key driver of both supply and demand in the marketplace here, and places that still feature reasonable prices are already seeing momentum shifting their way. And those markets should have the healthiest markets in 2023. In regards to demand shifting towards more reasonably priced markets, they're basically right on par with what Redfin's reporting as well, because they reported a few days ago that nearly one quarter or 24.1% of US home buyers who are going onto Redfin looking for houses for sale look to move to a different metro area in the 3 months ended in October. That's on par with the all-time record high of 24.2% that was set in the third quarter of this year. On top of that, this 24.1% of US home buyers looking for houses for sale in a different metro area, that's up from the roughly 18% that was seen in 2019. And here's a chart showing Redfin users looking to relocate ever since August of 2017. And of course, this most recent update here from Redfin is just below the all-time record highs we saw back in October. And also at 24.1% right now, this is much higher compared to October 2019 at 18.3%. And speaking of home buyers looking to move to more affordable areas here, Redfin says that home buyers are looking to move to the Sun Belt, especially Florida. Sacramento, Las Vegas, and Miami were the most popular destinations for Redfin.com users looking to relocate. And that was followed by San Diego as well as Tampa. On top of that, half of the top 10 migration destinations are in Florida. Cape Coral, Florida, Northport, Sarasota, as well as Orlando on the list, followed by Miami and Tampa as well. And it says here, relatively affordable Sunbelt metros are typically most popular with relocating home buyers, largely because buyers can get more home for less money. In Las Vegas, for example, the typical home costs $410,000 in October, roughly half the price of the typical home in Los Angeles, which is $823,000. And based on this analysis from Redfin here, Sacramento was actually the #1 destination city in the United States. And the top origin of people moving out of this area into Sacramento was actually San Francisco, which obviously has home prices around $1.6 million is the average home price, whereas in Sacramento, it's around $500,000 to $600,000. Followed by Sacramento was Las Vegas, Nevada. The top origin there was Los Angeles, California, and then Miami, Florida, rounding out the top three. And the top origin there is coming from New York, New York. In contrast, the top three metros of people looking to move out of that area was actually in San Francisco, followed by Los Angeles, as well as New York, New York. So it appears that based on people looking for houses for sale, it appears a lot of people are looking for more affordable areas and moving out of more expensive areas. And going back to Zillow's housing market forecast here, it says enter the Midwest. Unlike every other region in the United States, or nearly every other region in the US, prices in most Midwest metro areas haven't run up in prices as much as these other areas. Mortgage costs as a share of income are still within a healthy range here. Sub 30% levels across Ohio, Pennsylvania, Kansas, upstate New York, Iowa, and smaller metros in Illinois, which allow first-time home buyers to take the plunge in home buying. Zillow is also predicting that more home buyers are going to be buying houses with family and friends due to a lack of housing affordability. They say here with rising housing costs, or with housing costs rising far above previous affordable norms, those chasing down home ownership are turning to unconventional means of making it pencil out financially. And this should continue, or could continue, in 2023. In fact, based on a survey done this spring, Zillow found out that among successful recent home buyers, in other words, people who had just purchased a house this spring, Approximately 18% had purchased along with a friend or relative who wasn't their spouse or partner. And affordability and, of course, qualifying for a mortgage were cited as the top reasons for buying together, challenges that are now even more acute right now because, of course, back in the spring months, rates were around 5%. Now, of course, rates are around 6 to 7% right now. Zillow is also predicting that housing affordability will stabilize, if not improve, in 2023. It says here affordability, which of course is a measure of the median income required to pay housing costs. The balance between income and your housing payment here is the biggest challenge for buyers, sellers, and renters today. Monthly mortgage costs have doubled since 2019, driven by price hikes and, of course, rapid increases in rates. In regards to their statement here that monthly housing costs have doubled since 2019, I actually want to give you guys an example because I tend to share examples regarding what your average monthly housing payment would be 1 month ago versus today. But actually, I've never looked at 2019's home prices compared to now and looking at different rates back then compared to now. So here you go. Here's an example looking at how much your housing payment would be in the early parts of December of 2019 versus now. So the median sold price back in early December 2019 was approximately $270,000. So let's assume you're putting down 20% down. Your loan amount would be $216,000. And your rate back in December, early parts of December 2019 was approximately 3.8%. In this example, I'm actually including insurance and taxes as well because there's a big difference between home prices here when talking about home prices over the span of 3 years. And therefore, your taxes are about $1,000 more expensive for the year compared to right now because increases of home prices here. So in this example here, I'm assuming that home insurance is around $100 per month. Of course, that widely varies depending on where you're living here. But I'm assuming $100 per month. I'm also assuming a tax rate of 1.25% based on your purchase price, which in this example is $270,000. In California, for example, average property taxes are around 1.25%. Of course, I realize in other markets like Texas and Illinois, for example, property taxes are much more expensive than that. But in this example, I'm just going to provide analysis based on rates at 1.25%. So taking that all in consideration, based on all this, your housing payment would be approximately $1,387 per month back in early December 2019. So fast forward to today, have a look at this. The median sold price as of today is approximately $357,000. That's as of the end of November, according to Redfin. And also assuming 20% down payment, the new rate at 6.34%, which is the average rate today at the time of this video, which is the 2nd of December here. And of course, assuming home insurance at about $100 per month as well. You don't see a whole lot of increases in home insurance. Of course, it depends on where you live, of course, right? Also assuming property taxes at 1.25% based on a home purchase price of $357,000. That would give you an average monthly housing payment of $2,247 per month, or an increase of $859 more per month to buy an average price home today in 2019. And that increase of $859 more per month to buy an average price home today versus 3 years ago is a 61% increase. So going back to Zillow's report here, saying that average monthly housing costs have doubled since 2019. I think it depends on what rate you're using, of course, what home prices you're using as well, and of course, property tax rates as well as home insurance. But in my example, up by 61% over the past 3 years since 2019. And by the way, if I was to use rates back at 7.3% that we saw about a month ago, that difference in housing payment would be about $1,000. In any case, hope you guys appreciate that example there regarding your average monthly housing payment right now versus 2019. Zillow also stated that these high mortgage rates are not only pushing buyers to the sidelines, they're tanking new inventory or new listings as homeowners decide to hang on to their current houses and low rates. And renters are not exempt from this madness as well. Rents have grown faster than wages, making it harder to save for a down payment, and the average hourly wage has grown 23% over the past 5 years, but rents have gone up 37% during that same time period after the pandemic era surge in rents. And Zillow says housing affordability will continue to be a driving force in the housing market in 2023, but there's a decent chance it will improve. And at the very least, the market should stabilize, according to Zillow. In regards to home prices, here's what Zillow had to say for 2023, which, by the way, is the first time I've seen them predict that home prices are going to be flat next year. Zillow expects national home values to remain relatively flat next year and even fall in the most affordability challenged markets. Again, this is the first time I've seen Zillow actually predict that home values are going to be flat next year, and also predicting that some markets are going to actually have decreases in home prices next year. And in fact, Redfin has already stated that there's approximately 10 markets in the US who have already experienced decreases in home prices compared to 1 year ago. And those markets are the following here. Prices have fallen by 8.2% on a year-over-year basis in San Francisco, California. That was followed by San Jose, California, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Sacramento, Austin, Texas, as well as Chicago, San Diego, Los Angeles, and Philadelphia. Again, all 10 of these markets had home prices decrease compared to 1 year ago. And Zillow says here that mortgage rates are already seeing some recent and encouraging progress downwards as inflation and labor market tightness show small signs of easing. And this may be enough to suggest that some may believe that the Federal Reserve may ease its aggressive monetary contraction. In regards to mortgage rates progressing downwards, they're actually spot on regarding this because mortgage rates have decreased approximately 1 percentage point over the past month. However, though, their statement here regarding labor market tightness does not agree to the jobs report that was just announced on Friday here, because non-farm payrolls increased 263,000 in November, while the unemployment rate pegged at 3.7%. So this increase in payrolls of 263,000 in November was well above the 200,000 estimate that the street was forecasting. And this is why mortgage rates increased by 5 basis points on Friday. They went from 6.29% on Thursday. Now they're at 6.34% on Friday. But still, compared to 1 year ago, rates were at 3.21%. So rates have increased approximately 3.13 percentage points, or 313 basis points compared to 12 months ago. In regards to the Fed's plan to increase rates, here's what the street is forecasting. The next rate decision by the Fed is actually on December 14th of this year, which at the time of this video is approximately 1.5 weeks from now. So on December 14th, here's what the street is forecasting. They're forecasting by a 73.5% probability that the Fed's going to increase rates by 50 basis points to 4.5%. And the street is only forecasting by a 26.5% probability that the Fed's going to increase rates by 75 basis points. And interesting enough, the probability for a 50 basis point rate hike yesterday was actually 80.6%. But after this jobs report was released, that decreased to 73.5%. Zillow also provides some housing market predictions for brand new houses here. It says a glut in new homes available, in other words, an increase in the number of new houses for sale, are driving price reductions for brand new home construction and potentially in the existing home market as well. In order to drive home sales of brand new houses, home builders will lower their prices, is what Zillow is saying right here. And also they're going to be offering to buy points and also lower the mortgage rate of new construction buyers. So what they're seeing right here is in order to drive sales, they're predicting that home builders are going to be dropping their prices and also offering more incentives for home buyers. It also states here that builders are really pulling back on housing starts as well as permits pulled for single family houses. It says here, though, builders of multifamily properties, though, are much more bullish than single-family housing construction right now. It says here the number of multifamily units to start construction each month has fairly steadily increased. I wouldn't say it's really accurate to say that the number of multifamily units under construction has been increasing or increasing steadily, fairly steadily is what they're saying here. Because have a look at this. Here's housing starts for multifamily. Here's 5 units or more housing starts on a seasonally adjusted annualized rate. So here's housing starts for 5 units or more, which, by the way, the vast majority of these are actually apartment buildings in order to rent out. So 5 units or more, the number of housing starts compared to 1 year ago is up by 17.3%. In stark contrast, though, look at single family houses. 1 unit down by 20.8% in October 2022 compared to October 2021. So just the opposite, right? Housing starts for a single family down by almost 21%, whereas multifamily up by 17.3%. And also year to date, housing starts of 5 units or more is up by 17.1%. Compare this to single family houses, 1 unit, down by 7.1%. So when Zillow is saying here that home builders are much more bullish regarding multifamily, they're absolutely correct. Additionally, according to Zillow here, confidence for building rental properties here will also encourage more construction of build for rent houses, as many would-be homeowners will need to continue renting into later life stages if now unable to qualify and move forward with a purchase of their own. And with that said, please comment below your biggest takeaways from today's video. Also, if you guys got any value of this video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that, and I appreciate you, of course, as well. Hope you guys have an awesome day. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.